Procrastination is a tough habit to break. Consistency might be the key to getting through it. Let's talk about it. Roll it. Welcome back to another video where we've been exploring this whole idea of how to be more consistent in life. How consistency can bring success. Starting small and growing into more and more levels of consistency will help you get to that place you want to be. And what do we really mean by this? Well, in the first few videos we talked about consistency and how to actually execute, how to actually get into that zone without actually stressing yourself, without creating a whole negative aspect of being more consistent. And our first step is really to make a list of the things that we should start being more consistent on. Then we need to look at this list and say to ourselves, what can we start on that's not going to be stressful? How are we going to look at this in a way where, hey, I got a massive list, now that big list is stressing me out, and how do I really tackle this? And this all comes from an email from somebody who's struggling with this idea. Hi Nikos, I was watching your videos on being consistent. Your process is interesting and I will try it. Awesome. I was wondering, if you were to start small and build on the consistency, how would you choose from that scale? I feel like my procrastination is because of being inconsistent. Really, I'm not consistent in anything. And the idea here is to ask yourself, not really what are you not consistent on, and I mean, what are you procrastinating on a lot? It's more of a idea behind what do you really want to get better at. Because I can guarantee you're probably not consistent on the things that you really need to be consistent on, but you're consistent on the things you probably don't need to be consistent on. And if we really look at this idea of procrastination, well, we can look at it from the perspective of what are you doing that you're supposed to be doing, that you know you're supposed to be doing, but you, instead of tackling it, leave it so you can go and do the things you really want to be doing, or the things that are just gonna take you away from the requirements of the day, and then you are consistent on those. And a lot of the times these habits that we have will take away from the opportunities to be successful. These bad habits, not necessarily bad habits, but rather time-consuming habits, and habits that don't really give you growth. So the first thing I would say in this is to look at your list and ask yourself, if I were to start today and just be consistent today in something, what can I do where I can apply 10 minutes today and 10 minutes tomorrow and 10 minutes and so on and so forth each day, where in the first 2 weeks I will do 10 minutes and then I can grow it to 20 minutes. And if I can stick to that 10 minutes, I know I will be able to move that much further along with whatever I've been procrastinating on. And then in 2 weeks, we're looking at this and we're saying, hey, how can I improve it? How can I find growth in it? Step 2 is to analyze from this new list that you create, where it's how can you look at your limitations and say to yourself, I am comfortable with doing 10 minutes, and I'm comfortable to seeing that go to 20 and 30 minutes, and the goal is 30 minutes. I know I can't do 30 minutes right now at this moment, but I know if I start working at it, well then I'll get to that 30 minutes. A lot of the times we start in a place where it's a little bit too hard, and a lot of the time when students are calling me for help, their parents, the conversation I have with their parents, they're like, well, I don't understand why my kid can't do 2 hours of homework a night. And the reality is, in the last decade, we've cut down the level of homework that's given. And we're training the students to do this stuff in school. And they might not have enough time to do everything in school. So then all of a sudden, they're doing bad in school, and you're like, hey, sit down, do 2 hours of work. And they haven't had that mental learning moments that you have as you do homework consistently. And now they can't just start at 2 hours. You gotta start at 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. Get up to that 2 hour mark. And yes, we see this with the universities, and we see this with the college, and all the students that go in there, and all of a sudden they're expected to perform, and they're like, well, what do you mean I gotta do all this homework? Yet there is performance. because the students are going to university through high school, they want to get to university, so they spend time after school, call it homework or not, they are learning the material and they're practicing to be consistent on doing the things they need to finish. Lastly, apply value of what it means to you to get this achieved. So this is to say that your limitations will come into effect and you're going to plan out the time it will take you to get to where you want to be. There needs to be a value that you attribute it in a way where you find satisfaction. For instance, if I want to learn more about Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom, and I want to do better with my pictures, can I do that overnight? There's no way. There's just a gazillion features in that software. Same with like Photoshop and the Premiere Pro. And can I do that overnight? Well, no, I can't. And even if I sit down and I do the courses I bought online on Udemy, there's 20 hours of work in there that you're sitting there going through. I can't sit there for 20 hours to learn that. What I can do though is take pictures each and every day, and every day apply a different type of skill from that software that I'm learning and apply it towards that new photo. And then I'm learning consistently, so in that 3 months, 4 months, I got some great photos coming out of post-production of the photos I'm taking. The value I'm setting for myself is that I will eventually be at a level where I'm proud of the photos I make. They're not necessarily going to be as good as some of the great talents that exist out there, and by no means do I expect to get there. Maybe in 10 years. But right now, in the next year, I don't expect that. I don't even expect it in 5. What I do expect is when I take pictures of people, places, or things, that they come out in a way where I love looking at them, I personally. Because I know that that is what I'm striving for, and I know that if I like something, then yeah, other people will like it, and they'll give me more feedback on how to make it that much better, and then I will get even better trying to make the adjustments. It's a continual cycle, which means you want to look at the things that you're going to be proud of, and also to find continual growth in. Because if you can find those things that you'll find continual growth in, well, you'll keep moving motivated in that direction you need to get to. My name is Nikos Rentas. This is MentorSports.com. Hit that like button if you like what you see. Of course, hit the subscribe button to get your daily motivational idea to get you moving in the right direction. Of course, leave your comment below. Leave your story, because who knows? Somebody might be reading that comment. They might see something that's a little bit different from the video, or maybe something that supports it. And who knows? You might help change a life.